full send here. Yeah, there's plenty of motivation there.
Welcome back to the Z-List Cars. My name is Matt, and today we're going to talk a little bit about BMW's iconic M Motorsports division. And specifically, the current trend of how it seems like BMW is willing to stick an M badge on just about any regular BMW that rolls out of the factory. Mercedes-Benz AMG division is also a bit guilty of this, and at the end of the day, this is a marketing ploy to make the high-end, motorsport-influenced, nearly track-ready division of these respective brands more accessible to the average buyer and allow that really iconic brand appeal to trickle its way down to the more run-of-the-mill BMWs and Mercedes-Benz. Today we're going to focus on the BMW aspect of it, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the three different types of M branding that BMW is doing these days. There still are real, genuine M cars, but there's also a little bit of other M-influenced cars, such as this one behind me right here. So if this is your first ride here on the Z-List Cars, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you like what you see, and please do consider hitting that subscribe button and follow me on Instagram at the Z-List Cars. I've borrowed this X4 M40i from Highline Auto House, a unique pre-owned luxury car dealership in Charlotte, North Carolina that specializes in late model, generally one-owner luxury brand vehicles with great histories that are well serviced in excellent condition at excellent prices. Check them out at highlineautohouse.com. As I mentioned, BMW's recent strategy of somewhat excessively applying and using the M badge to many more mainstream BMWs is a marketing strategy that should ultimately allow them to sell more cars, grow in profitability, and in the future continue building the awesome high-end and specialty cars that many of us enthusiasts love. So for those who are kind of left scratching their head as to all these different more mainstream BMWs that have an M badge all over them, here's my explanation of kind of what they're offering. So number one is essentially an M Sport package BMW, which is any standard BMW, even many of the four-cylinder turbos, 530i's, 330i's, etc., that have the cosmetic appearance more inspired by the look of an M car. Generally, the front end is going to kind of have this more sporty bumper, three large mesh air dams. You're going to have M-inspired wheels that are a different wheel design than the standard car. Generally, a thicker rim steering wheel as well with M branding, sport seats. So number two is going to be an M performance car, which is what's behind me right now. This right here is a 2017 BMW X4 M40i. So this is a good example of an M performance car. It's not a real M car, but it has more of a beefed up engine. It has M in the actual name of the car. It's not just a package, and it comes standard with a lot of the little M goodies. Generally slightly bigger brakes, usually an adaptive M suspension. It might not be quite as many levels of configurability as the real M car, but also you have a higher level of standard equipment, generally better headlights, better stereo, standard navigation, and such. And then number three is your real M car, your track-ready, high-performance, top-of-the-line M3, M4, X5M, M5, etc. Today, I'm going to review this X4 M40i, talk about what makes it special as a BMW M performance car, what makes this specific one a nice value, and then get it out on the road and see how it is to drive. Ever since the launch of the original BMW X5 in 1999, BMW has never claimed to build an SUV, sports utility vehicle. Never a truck-based body-on-frame SUV, but rather BMW has called them sports activity vehicles, which have always been a unibody, car-like construction and a focus on good handling, tight steering, good driving dynamics for the size and weight of the vehicle. X5 has always been a huge hit, and I believe in 2008 the BMW X6 was introduced with its coupe-like roofline with a sloping rear glass that sort of had this hatchback style instead of the traditional liftgate of the BMW X5. It was a roaring success. It's kind of a love it or hate it. You either really like the style or you really probably don't. And right here, this BMW X4 was introduced, I believe in 2015, as a slightly downsized BMW X6 that rides on the platform of the X3, which is essentially a downsized X5. So the standard X4 comes with a 4-cylinder turbo engine with about 250 horsepower, about 260 pound-feet of torque. This is the serious step up, the X4 M40i, which comes with BMW's N55 engine that in a lot of applications for this time made about 300 horsepower, but in the M40i was tuned to deliver 355 horsepower. And this is a fun car for its size and weight, and this is a serious step up over the standard X4. And I think it's an excellent alternative to someone who is thinking about a newer BMW X6 M, which is the high-performance, true M version of the X6. This is just about half the price that even a used X6 M is. So let's go over a little bit of what you get with the X4 M40i. As you see, this one here sort of has this mesh 3-tier front bumper style that many of the M Performance cars often have. That's inspired by the look of the M. It's a completely different bumper style than the standard car. As far as the wheels go here, you have this sort of split 5-spoke look, which has often been a BMW M car tradition. And although these are not the actual wheels that come on genuine M cars, they really do look a lot like the style. They've got kind of a graphite gray metallic finish on them, have the M branding, and you have high performance run flat tires. This particular one is carbon black as well. Carbon black has always been a color that's only reserved for either M cars or M Performance cars or standard BMWs with an M Performance package. But unless there's some M designation, you can't get carbon black, which, as you might be able to see here, is actually a very dark blue metallic. Boy, I think that carbon black really does shine nicely in the sun. So from the side view, you really do see the coupe-like roofline as it sort of slopes back to the tailgate. You of course get a power tailgate with these, and they offer a good amount of utility with the seats folded down, probably of course a little bit less than your X3 would with the standard sort of tailgate. But you know, for people who want to carry around a bunch of stuff, let's take a look here. Any sort of equipment, you have your cargo area cover here, and you got a little bit of storage underneath the trunk floor here, as these cars do come with run flat tires, so there is no spare. You have LED tail lights here. You got dual exhaust finishers on the M40i. Up front here, we have BMW's adaptive LED front lighting system. And as I mentioned, you got the M-inspired front bumper look, fog lights, and your traditional kidney grille. Let's head inside. All right, heading inside, no wood trim in this bad boy. You get the genuine aluminum look here. As I mentioned, sport seats are standard on the M40i. Generally on any M Sport car or M Performance car, you are going to get the enhanced door sills with the M labeling. On these, you're going to have the sport seats, which generally means you have this little adjustable bolster that can go in and out to support underneath your knees, sort of. You got inflatable side bolsters here. Got a thicker rimmed M steering wheel with the large silver painted paddle shifters here, and standard iDrive infotainment. You do have a sport automatic 8-speed transmission, M branding on the shifter. Some might accuse BMW of slight overuse of the M badge. Pretty good back seat here that might sacrifice just a little bit of space due to the sloping roofline. But overall, a cool cockpit and a nice place to be. The M40i, being a slightly up-trim X4, also comes with the Harman Kardon surround sound, which is a nice touch.
All right, on the road with the X4 M40i. Now, this is powered by BMW's N55 engine, which is a silky smooth 3-liter inline-6 with one large twin-scroll turbocharger. I forgot quite how punchy it felt. I mean, yeah, you know, not only do you have silky smooth, instant torque from the N55, any of BMW's inline 6s have always just been some of the smoothest and most enjoyable BMW engines. The V8s are great, they're very powerful. In a previous video about an X550, I went on and on about how much I loved it, but they do have more issues, so here we go. Yeah, so it's a great sound. I don't know how much you guys can hear that, but the other great thing about this is not only does it have the ZF8, the excellent ZF 8-speed automatic that's in just about everything these days, but it's tuned to shift just a little bit faster than it does in your average BMW car, and although it's not a double clutch, it's not far off from being as fast. Listen to this. Traffic circles are generally a pretty good time in these. Yeah, I mean, the handling's definitely there. It feels, the steering ratio feels quicker than it does in your average BMW from 2017 or so. And it is, you know, the thick-rimmed M wheel feels great, and the brakes are strong. You know, it has quote-unquote M performance brakes. They're obviously not carbon ceramics, nor are they quite as large in diameter and strong as what would come on a modern X3M or X4 M. But they're very good. BMW does not leave you desiring for much more in terms of braking. My heads-up display is pleasant to look at. You know, you get your speed, navigation instructions, and all that. So the equipment in this car is good. It's just nice and civilized and quiet in comfort mode. But right now I have it in sport, and actually, I think they channel more fake noise into the interior when you are in sport mode, and I think that's what I'm hearing. But the exhaust note, either way, it's a freer flowing exhaust system that they put on the M40i here, and the N55 really puts out a great noise when you're at the higher RPM, and you hear quite a few snaps, crackles, and pops as you let off and you let the RPMs fall. You know, it feels like this engine really is very well matched to the car. The car does not feel heavy. It changes direction quickly. This probably is going to have a quicker steering turn-in and higher level of grip than an X5M or an X6M, just because it's a lighter car, even though it's not quite as quite as purpose-built as they are. So if you can deal with if you like something like an X6M, you just think, hey, this is a hatchback, it's got the ride height of an SUV, whereas a brand new X6M is $120,000 or thereabouts, nearly. And I'd imagine most quality pre-owned certified are going to be, geez, 80s, maybe give or take. And this is $34,000 with 36,000 miles, 3 years old, still under factory warranty. This is a very compelling little performance crossover.
And that is the 2017 BMW X4 M40i. Thanks again, guys, for joining me on the ride. Don't forget to follow me at the Z-List Cars on Instagram, and I'll see you next time.